Hi, Passionators. I'm back. Happy Father's Day. All the fathers out there. I hope you're having a good time. I really do. I'm not going to interrupt you, at least not for very long. But if you want to come in, come on in. Let's talk. Just for a little while, anyway. At least I warned you I was coming this time. You all can help me bring in the sundown. I love these long days for just this reason because I get a few more minutes with the sunshine. So thanks for coming in. Let us talk, shall we? Feel free to share this video because, yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are dealing with this closure idea. It's a popular subject, very popular subject. And it's often talked about as if it is the solution to a relationship issue of some kind or another. Usually, people talk about it relative to breaking up, and because they have questions about how it happened, about why it happened, about if they had anything to do with it happening, if there was something they could do to keep it from happening. They feel like they have to have closure so they can heal and move on. Actually, that's not the case. The truth is that situations like that where you have questions that may or may not ever be answered still leave you in exactly the same place. Period. If you got the answers, your situation would be exactly the same. It's not as if, well, maybe if I knew why we broke up, I could do something different and we could get back together again. Not true. Most of the time, that isn't the case. And if it were the case, you may very well regret very soon that you got back together again. Because the reason why you actually split up is often much bigger than what it appears on the surface. So the whole idea of closure is a way that a lot of people use to stay attached to a situation that they've gotten used to, even though it's toxic, even though it's painful, even though it's chaotic and crazy, and even though it's not feeding them positively. It's feeding their weaknesses. It's feeding their fears. It's feeding their anxiety. It's making them right about the relationship in the first place. It's making them right about men. It's making them right about women. It's making them right about what they believed the relationship was going to be in the first place. Whatever it is, this whole closure thing is very often a manipulation. It's a way to stay attached to a situation that you would do much better by just letting go. But you don't want to let go. And you're grasping for reasons not to let go. So you start throwing this closure word around like it actually means something. Closure is not going to serve you in any way at all because it isn't going to change the outcome. People often believe that if they know why something happened, that they can change the outcome. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Changing the outcome comes from changing you. Can't unring a bell, can't unscramble an egg, can't go back in time. Going back, trying to go back, just leaves you perpetually frustrated. And it keeps you caught up in drama and more drama that leads to more drama and more drama. And many of us call that love because that's what we've been conditioned to believe love looks like. And yeah, love hurts, and oh, love is so dramatic, and if it's not crazy, it's not worth it, and all that stuff that TV and movies and books and culture at large is selling to us every day in one way or another. Too many of us believe that's real, and it's not real. It's media. It's advertising. It's reality television. It's that kind of stuff. But in the real world, where the rest of us mortals actually live, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I have absolutely no doubt that if you tried to think of a relationship where one person held on trying to get closure, that the outcome was actually in their favor. Did they ever get this so-called closure? Because when people ask for that, what they're really asking for is answers to questions. And most of the questions start with why. Why did you do this? Why did you feel this? Why did this happen? Why? I did everything I knew how to do. I was my best for you, and you left anyway. Why wasn't I good enough? Why wasn't I this enough? Why wasn't I that enough? Was I to this? Was I to that? Why? And the why typically has to do with the other person. The truth is, even if you got the answers, the answers would only lead to more questions. And that's how you get caught in the loop. That's how you get stuck in the hamster wheel. That's how you keep doing all that running and going absolutely nowhere, because you keep asking circular questions that don't lead to anything close to a resolution. Resolution doesn't happen because you have all your questions answered. Resolution is what you need to end a relationship in a way that can actually be healthy for you and beneficial for you. You don't need closure. You need resolution. And the good news is, resolution is entirely up to you. Resolution is about how you see it, how you process it, how you position it in your mind. Resolution is the story that you tell yourself about how the relationship ended, about why it ended, about your part in its ending. One thing that definitely helps is to remember that just because a relationship ended doesn't necessarily mean that it failed. Most relationships are supposed to end. We have this unrealistic expectation that our relationships are supposed to last forever, or even that they're supposed to be long term. And most of our relationships are not supposed to be long term. Everybody in your life is temporary. Your only permanent relationship is with you. You are your only permanent relationship. Everybody else in your life is passing through. Some people are short-term temporary. Some people are long-term temporary. Most people are somewhere in the middle. But everybody is temporary. You are your only permanent relationship. Not your parents, not even your children, and not your mate. You are your only permanent relationship. So the resolution depends on you. It depends on how you see the relationship, how you process it. Because going forward, that's the history that you're going to take with you. Whatever frame of mind that you come to after the relationship is over, that's what's going to follow you into future relationships. It doesn't have anything to do with the answers to questions. It has everything to do with how you choose to see it. Everything. Everything centers around you. Your mindset, the way you process it, the way you accept it or refuse to accept it, whether you stay wounded or not, isn't a function of closure. It is a function of your willingness to allow yourself to be healed. Healing isn't something that someone else can give you. Healing is something that you have to do yourself. It is a verb. And by the way, it doesn't just happen because time has passed. That's just some more foolery. The whole time heals all wounds thing? No. I know we have that illusion because typically when our bodies get injured, when we get a cut, if enough time goes by, the cut heals itself. Here's the deal, it's not the time that's healing it. There is a mechanism in our bodies that gets triggered when we get injured and our bodies go to work. Our bodies know what to do to heal themselves. They know what to do. They're not just laying around watching time pass. That's what's not going on. Your body, the instant you get injured, your body's mechanism kicks in to begin the healing process. The process happens over time, but because we don't have anything consciously to do with that process, we often fool ourselves into believing that it was just the time that healed the wound. And that's not how that works. That mechanism is very specific and it's automatic. We don't have to trigger it. It doesn't ask us for our permission. It just goes to work the minute we are injured. We don't do that for ourselves in our relationships unless we choose to. And we have to choose to do that. That's why time does not heal all wounds. Time doesn't heal anything. It only gives you the opportunity to heal yourself. If you don't use it, you will just be older and wounded. Only now the wound will be worse and harder to heal because it will have festered and grown and spread and infected other areas of your life. It'll be showing up in ways you never anticipated. And it'll be hurting you in ways you couldn't think of. But if you don't, deliberately, consciously, with full awareness, decide to heal, time will do absolutely nothing for you. It will just make sure that when you get into your next relationship, you will take the same wound with you, only it will be bigger and nastier and harder to heal once you get there. That's how we end up with this whole concept of baggage that needs to be unpacked. Which, by the way, is your job. It's not your mate's job. But that's another video. I didn't want to keep you for too long. I'm just glad you guys showed up. So thanks for hanging out with me. Oh my gosh, my brother's in the building. Hi. How you doing, Tracy? Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. You're still my favorite father. And thanks for popping in. So that's what I want to leave you with tonight. I didn't want to keep you long because it is your day, and I'm pretty sure there's a recliner and a remote somewhere waiting on a lot of you. And for those of you who aren't fathers, it's still a fabulous Sunday. So thank you for sharing part of your evening with me. Feel free to share this video. I've got people to reach, and I need your help to reach them. So I appreciate you coming in tonight. And I'll be back again soon. If there's something that you'd like me to talk about specifically, be sure to send me a private message. And I will be sure to talk about it for sure, right? Let's do that. We need to talk more anyway. There's been enough of this not talking business. So let's fix that. I'll do my part if you do yours. Anyway, and while the sun is fading, I love this part. Have a great night, guys. Rest well, passionators. For tomorrow, we rise to love one more time. Good night.